Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video in Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Corki updated complete guide, and of course Corki is gonna get his rework pretty soon. So this is probably gonna be one of the last few videos on the old Corki. But as usual, don't forget to check out his basic guide for his skills, delivering order tips and tricks and combos that I've put up in the cards above. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So for the items, a couple of small changes towards the back end, but in the front end it's still kind of the same. You want to get the early Gluttonous Greaves in lane just for that early AD and the Omnivamp, and then you want to go into Manamune Triforce. So generally with Manamune you want to go for the tier first, and then after tier you want to go for Sheen just for a little bit of that early game damage. So normally I go Boots into tier and then into Sheen, unless I have so much gold that I can complete my entire Manamune. Then sometimes I do that instead of getting the Sheen, but that is really rare. So of course the Manamune gives you a lot of mana, which Corki really needs because he uses a ton of mana. And of course you also, when you evolve it to Mirror Mana, you get the extra damage on your auto attacks and your spells, and with Corki you spam a lot of your ulti, so that's going to come in real handy. And then you have Triforce, great statistic not champion item. Gives you max health, attack speed, ability haste, AD, spell blade passive, which you can proc pretty much constantly because you're spamming your ulti all the time. So you're gonna get spell blade up really often, and that movement speed as well. So of course the classic 2-item combo for Corki into a pretty classic 3-item combo for Corki with the Riftmaker. So Riftmaker, as someone's trying to invite me for a game, Riftmaker is basically another very nice stat item. So you of course have all the good stats. You have your health, your AP, your magic pen, and your ability haste, and then of course you get the two amazing passives which I always talk about, which is basically your Omnivamp passive as well as your true damage passive. And then here we have a very interesting one, which unfortunately I won't really be able to show in the gameplay later, but you have Spear of Shojin. And I say I won't be able to show it because we don't actually end up completing it, but I say it's really interesting because you get even more tanky with your max health. You get 50 AD, which is really decent, 25 ability haste, which is also pretty good, 5% movement speed, and you get the Dragon's Awakening passive. So what does that do? Well, basically, you get you increase the ability haste of your basic abilities by 25% for 10 seconds, and at the same time you get 25% movement speed that decays over 3 seconds. When you get a takedown, you extend this duration by 4 seconds. However, what this does not tell you is that even though it has a 20-second cooldown, and this lasts for 10 seconds, it's when you cast your ultimate. So before it goes into the 20-second cooldown, every time you cast your ultimate, it's going to refresh this 10 seconds. So with Corki and his 6 ultimate charges, when you complete Spear of Shojin, you basically can have it permanently activated if you really wanted to, because basically all you really need to do is when it's about to run out, you just need to press ulti again, and that's all you really need. So regardless, next we have Liandry's Torment, which is basically going to give you the max health damage, which is going to be able to burn through the tanks, but this is very situational, of course only when you're into a tanky team. Other than that, you also have other options like Grievous Wounds, you have, against heavy AP, you have just for general safety, shields, if you need that, range, a lot of options basically. So for the runes, basically what we have is Conqueror, but you do have some other options. So Conqueror, I think, is your best option. It allows you to stack up AD and Omnivamp in the long run and gives you a lot of consistent damage in team fights. Fleet is actually pretty good for your sustain in lane and movement speed as well, so it's really more of a laning rune to help you sustain and deal more, not deal more damage, but help you navigate the lane with the movement speed and with the healing to make your matchups easier. And then you also have First Strike, which I don't really recommend, but some people do like to go for that, where basically with the First Strike you will be able to burst people down, but I think the consistent damage of Conqueror is just better. And then of course we have Brutal for the extra auto attack damage, Giant Slayer to counter the tanks, Alacrity for more attack speed, Bone Plating for the defensive capabilities, and for the spells you have Flash together with Exhaust. Exhaust is normally the spell I go for to try to, of course, exhaust my lane opponent or whoever is going to jump onto me. However, of course, your usual options like Cleanse is still really good against CC. Barrier is also pretty good. Ignite, if you want to play very aggressive, works as well. But with all that said, let's move on to the gameplay. Okay, so now let's check out the Corki gameplay itself. Before we really do that, of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as usual. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and of course be sure to address them. So Corki, of course, is a strong AP champion that builds AD items, which is a little bit confusing to some people. Basically, he builds AD items, but he does AP damage. So he is really good in both the mid lane as well as the bot lane. Of course, if you want to play him in the bot lane, generally you only want to do so when there is little or no AP on your team, because obviously as the ADC role, you want to be playing something that does AD damage and not AP. And of course, you guys have saw me play Corki bot lane in numerous other videos, which you guys can check out if you guys want to. But today we're playing Corki in the mid lane. And yeah, so Corki rework is going to be coming at some point in the future. I think there are already some details that have been leaked, and of course it was already mentioned in the patch preview way back when. So we do know it's going to come sooner or later. I'm completely not sure when it is actually going to come, but you know, it could be as soon as the next update, or it could be a couple updates later. We have no idea, or I have no idea at least. So yeah. So in this lane, we're against an Akali. So now Akali is a kind of a little bit of a weird matchup, as we spot Olaf on the Raptor ward that we put. So that ward is a ward I like to put when I'm in the mid lane, but it is a little bit dangerous of a ward to put, because it requires you to go into the enemy jungle. Sometimes you get caught up by the mid laner or the jungler, and yeah, that would not be very good. So against Akali, the matchup is a little bit of a double-edged sword, because on one hand you are range versus melee, so you can kind of bully her a little bit, but as you guys can see from what just happened here, she hit her E on me, and what can also happen is you can get engaged on and traded on, because overall you do DPS where she does burst damage. So if she gets an E on you, she will probably burst you for more than what you burst her, and of course she is an assassin, so it's really easy for you to die to her. So the matchup definitely does have pros and cons, like the pros obviously being the fact that you're range and you can kind of bully for the majority of the time, you can poke, but of course the con is that she can just all in and kind of kill you, because she does have the kill pressure being an assassin and all. So it is really a bit of a double-edged sword. So with that said, now we did get our recall, we did get our Gluttonous Greaves. Akali is trying to recall, and here I was actually initially thinking of interrupting her, but unfortunately the Q auto targets to the minion, so that doesn't really work out. Now seeing as she has just recalled, you know, now we have the wave in a neutral position, and now I'm thinking of maybe pushing the wave, because there is a fight in bot lane that I can rotate to, because I do have priority. So I do get the wave pushed in and I go for the rotation. Unfortunately, Olaf picks up a double and picks up a triple right as I arrive. However, thankfully he has already popped his ult, he has already used all of his spells, and he has run out of steam, and I'm basically able to rotate and pick up a free kill, and it's also a 500 gold shutdown, of course, because he did get 3 kills just before I killed him. So good opportunistic rotation on my part. And here Akali, I'm not sure why she did this. She jumped in, took a tower shot, and then ulted behind me. I exhaust her just in case. But honestly, I didn't even need to blow my exhaust. But yeah, I'm not sure why out of all the E's she hit on me that she chose to take, I'm not sure why she took that one. I think that the first one that she hit on me, I think she could have actually taken that one and got it in a trade. But this one, the moment she hit it on me, I run under tower, and that basically caused her to take a tower shot, and she went for it anyway. So I found that really strange, but she gives me another kill, and this accelerates me a ton. This gives me like the most gold in the game now. I'm at 3.4k gold. Of course, Olaf is close behind, and yeah, it's just a pretty insane lead for me. So here now with my 2-kill lead on Akali, who is now 0 and 1, I am like not quite 1k gold ahead of her, but almost 1k gold ahead of her. I push in the wave once again. I get a ward down to ensure I'm not going to get ganked by Olaf. That's the last thing I want. Of course, it's going to be really difficult for me to escape Olaf. He can probably run me down on the tower. Now here I'm doing one of the little Corki tricks, which is to proc my ulti onto the minions and then splash it onto Akali who's near the minions. So Akali is actually taking all of the ult damage just by standing near her minions, which is something you don't want to do if you're against Corki. So here I don't really want to make a rotation bot, but I want to stay out of vision so Akali doesn't know where I am and the bot lane doesn't know where I am as well. So here I'm now back into the lane, tossing some of my spells into the minions once again to proc onto the Akali. I clear all of the minions and I'm going to recall and pick up my package, because obviously each objective is 20 seconds away from spawning, and the package is basically all about objective fight. So here in the meantime I'm also charging up my tier and making sure I have the big one on standby in terms of my rockets, which is the empowered one. So now I'm headed back to my mid lane to clear it up before the objective spawn. Now, Akali, of course, has pretty much no items. She only really has her boots and a lost chapter, or a fiendish codex, excuse me. Here we clear the wave, make sure that it's in neutral, just getting the fruit to make sure we're at maximum health possible. And here we're coming in with the package. We're kind of waiting for our team to really do something. I'm gonna rotate over to the side that my team is at. And then here the enemy team actually gets pushed off the dragon by my team. I'm not sure why they actually went off. Amumu with a huge ulti, I'm going in with the package. Nami gets completely melted, Varus is stepping on the package, has to flash away, Olaf goes down as well, Caitlyn picks up 2 kills, I pick up 1, and we're able to steal, not steal, but we're able to basically shove them off the dragon and take it for ourselves. So in a way we kind of stole it, but in reality we shoved them off when it was like above half health. And with the enemies dead, this allows us to rotate to the Herald and then get the Herald as well. Now I'm 3-0-1 at this point, and I was hoping that Amumu would put the Herald in the mid lane so I can get the extra goal and snowball even further. But instead, he puts it in the top lane and helps out the Mordekaiser with the gank on the Darius. Now, however, unfortunately, fortunately we do get the first tower, but unfortunately Amumu dies for it, and Mordekaiser does pick up the trade kill, but I think could have been a little bit smoother. So now Akali is in here. I'm trying to push, and I'm trying to go on her, doing a bunch of damage. There's no way she takes this E when I'm under tower, so I'm, the trade's basically over. And once again, making sure I keep mid lane warded. Now, I like to get my ward in a little bit further down, like either that bush or the bush above. I don't like to put the ward into this mid lane bush, because I think that by the time you see the champion, it's a little bit too late. Now, in between, I have a little bit of time, so I'm actually going into the jungle to farm the raptors, just to increase my farm even further. And you can see I'm not missing any minions because I did that, because obviously here you can see Akali is kind of trolling. She actually pops the smoke bomb, and that's actually a huge signal for me to fight her, because without the smoke bomb she can never go untargetable. And here you can see I'm trying to go in on her. She actually goes in on me, I follow her, and yeah, we get the kill right here. And it was really weird, because if you guys notice at the end of the fight, the reason why I flashed to the right is because I expected her to use her R2 to try to trade the kill onto me, but instead she did not only not use her R2, but she actually flashed away. So that was a really weird interaction. Not interaction, but it's a really weird thing that Akali did. Right, like why did she not try to kill me? Because she was gonna die anyways. The auto followed her and she died, so she basically just wasted her ult and her flash, and then she just died regardless. So I found that to be really weird. But anyways, we're just gonna shove in the wave now. We're 4-0-1 now with the mana mune completed but not yet evolved. Now you can see a huge play happening in bot lane. Amumu, Mordekaiser, and myself are making our way there as our bot lane has just fallen. Me and Amumu going in from a flanking position. And yeah, here we're just going to blast down the Nami. Nami goes down. Olaf is running for the hills. Doesn't have anything up once again because he used it all in the fight. However, there is no reason to overchase him. And here Mordekaiser comes and basically tries to steal my wave. Does get some of it, some of those minions. And now back to mid lane. Now at this point, Akali is not really a threat. She has Stasis first item, and she has the components of Riftmaker, but no completed Riftmaker. So at this point, I'm really far ahead of her, and I'm not really scared of her for the most part. Of course, being an Akali, even with like no items, she still can kill me, but it's just very unlikely that she kills me before I kill her. So I'm not too afraid of the Akali at this point. I think that we have seen that this Akali is not the most skillful player, and if she goes in on me, I probably kill her more likely than she kills me. So here a fight is breaking out in the mid lane once again. I'm trying to rush my way there as quickly as I can, as is Amumu. Seraphine goes down. Mordekaiser is running for the hills. I'm trying to dash forward. Caitlyn gets the shutdown onto the Olaf, and I'm chasing onto the Akali. I had an on-target rocket, but she's a little bit out of range here. And Amumu is cutting off her escape, so there's no way that she survives here. She's gonna have to die to one of us. So here you can see she's in that bush. She tries to hop over. I hop over to follow, but she hops back over once again. And either which way is she basically just dies in the grand scheme of things. No real surprise there. So here is where I make a little bit of a mistake. Of course, I remember exactly what happens here. So here you can see we have like about 1.5 waves. We have the Scorpion, and here I get a bit greedy for a tier 2 tower because getting solo goal of the tier 2 tower is like 350 free gold. It's like basically a kill. So here I'm greeding for the tier 2 tower. I see Darius coming in. I'm pretty much ignoring him and grabbing the tower. Here Darius completely outplays me by grabbing me while I'm in my dash. I try to flash over, he flashes to follow, and he gets the full stacks on me and gets the shutdown, which is really unfortunate, of course, because that's a decent shutdown into the hands of the enemy Darius. And you could say in a way that it was kind of a worth it trade, because at the end of the day, I get a tower and I die, which is the goal value is roughly equivalent, and a structure is removed from the board. Furthermore, both myself and Darius use both summoner spells, so that was an even trade as well. The only kind of differential is where he gets a shutdown from me, whereas I get the tower, but in the end of the day, I think it's actually a relatively even kind of trade. Now here I was kind of deciding whether or not I should take the package. I decide to indeed do so, and I'm trying to use the package to cut off Darius's escape as well as maybe catching out Varus. So with the package movement speed, I'm going to just dash across the wall, push Darius back into danger, and then here we can see Darius as well as Varus somewhere in the bushes. Varus is probably backing at where the Scorpion is, so I actually think Varus actually ran away over there. Here Darius is in a 1v1 against Mordekaiser inside the Death Realm, and eventually Mordekaiser does get the kill onto the Darius. Now, I think that this Mordekaiser, once again, is another one of those Mordekaisers that does not make very good use of the Death Realm. Like, why would you ult the Darius there when you know you have me to DPS him if you don't ult, right? It's a 2v1 if you don't ult, and it's a 1v1 if you ult. Doesn't really make sense. And I'm pretty sure that at some point in the game, Mordekaiser actually ults to KS me. I think that was the kill on Nami just now. Once again, Akali goes down, Olaf goes on me, so I'm going to exhaust him immediately, and he has to kind of run away. He almost dies here. If the minion wave was half a second faster, I actually think he dies from the splash damage on the minion wave, but he actually does survive, just barely. And yeah, once again, we don't have really much to do. Only Baron's the only objective up, and we're not really going to just start off Baron just like that. So here, in the meanwhile, I'm just picking up some farm. All the waves are kind of pushed in, especially on the side lanes. So I'm just going to head over to the jungle to pick up my farm instead. At this point, we should have the red buff share on everybody if Amumu has been farming the jungle well. I'm not sure if he has been clearing his red buff though, so we'll have to see if other people get the red buff. Now my team wants to do Baron, and this is a little bit of a weird situation because I can't push this wave anymore. I actually have to take the gate up to help my team out with the Baron. Olaf, of course, is on the wrong side of the map, so this is not exactly a bad macro call. Enemy team, of course, knows we're doing Baron because we just removed their vision there. The Hex Gate is available for the taking for Olaf if he wants it, but we do already secure the Baron. Olaf is nowhere to be seen, and we can basically just back off if we want to. There is no need to do anything else. So here I pick up the fruit just for mana in case my team gets into a fight, which is not really the case. I need a little bit more gold for Riftmaker, so you can see I'm just trying to fight Caitlyn for those minions. We get the gold and I'm able to complete my Riftmaker. And as I mentioned in the build, the next item I'm going to go for is going to be the Spirit of Shojin, which once again we are not going to be able to reach in this particular game, so you won't get to really see the power of Spirit of Shojin. Definitely does change the dynamic of how you play Corki just a little bit. And I'm going to be really interested to see how Corki's itemization changes after the rework. He's gonna get. So here I spot Varus over the wall. I'm going for Varus. He flashes away from me. I don't really want to flash straight into an Olaf, so I'm just DPSing from over the wall. Just launching my pot shots. Nami flashes, but she flashes towards me, so she's just gonna die. Darius and Varus getting chased down. Darius goes down. Varus is running somewhere into our jungle, so we're trying to find him. He's not in there. He actually takes the Hex Gate all the way to the other side and escapes. Now here I actually think he makes a mistake, because he knows that all of us are on the top side of the map. So what he could have done here is to clear all of those minions crashing into his bot lane tower, but he basically gets scared and instead chooses to recall, and the minions actually take a free tower without us even being there. So here at this point, all three of our waves are kind of crashing into the enemy inhibitor towers at once. Obviously, side lane inhibitor is more important, so I'm gonna go for side lane inhibitor first. Then we're gonna go to the mid lane inhibitor. Sorry, not Darius. Varus gets grabbed by Mordekaiser, and here Akali once again is going over the wall. Again, she's kind of trolling. She just dies. Olaf is coming in with the Unstoppable. I exhaust him. I'm blasting him into next week. And the last inhib goes down to the Baron minions. And at this point, I thought that the game was won at this point. So here I'm actually DPSing the base, and then the enemies come. Obviously, we have to back off because Darius is going to grab us. And here I'm honestly here just trying to farm damage stats. Like you can see, I'm just launching rockets into minions to get the splash damage onto enemy champions. And then here, we are backing off. But honestly, I think that we could have maybe forced a little bit there, but we, of course, choose not to. So here I pick up my stasis just for the additional safety and build towards the Spear of Shojin. Picking up the package and heading straight to the Baron. Obviously, this Baron, I'm sorry, not Baron, the Dragon. We get the Infernal Soul, and we're in a incredibly good spot in this game. My team has myself, Caitlyn, and Amumu all incredibly fed out of our minds, and we have like a 10k goal lead against the enemy team. So should be a pretty done deal. Now here I have the package, but I don't really know how I'm going to use it because the enemy team are all kind of just stuck in their base and not very easy to execute a good package. Now here, however, here I see Akali going, she flashes back out, and the enemy team is clearly kind of interested to engage us in a fight. So I'm not using my rockets, I'm just autoing to clear minions. And here I spot Akali going in. I see the enemy team going in. I'm packaging across the entire front to kind of zone the backline off of the team fight. But somehow, despite that big package and that relatively big Amumu ult, somehow we are still not destroying them. In fact, it's just me and Mordekaiser left, and we're having a little bit of trouble. Can't really end the game here. Darius gets a hook in. I dash straight into the Nami bubble. I have to flash out. I'm trying to DPS from behind Mordekaiser using him as a front line. I hit the Nami, she's 1 HP, and I end up going down as well, and everybody on the enemy team lives on 1 HP. The only good news is, with all the inhibitors down, they cannot take Baron, and they cannot really do anything aside from clear minions, because if you guys can see, all 3 waves of super minions are crashing into their base, or at least they're gonna crash into their base real soon if they're not cleared. They will overpower the inferior minion wave that doesn't have a super minion, and they will push all the way into the enemy base. So thankfully, my team is starting to respawn. The enemy team is still busy clearing waves as they should. But definitely the ace on us there bought them a ton of time that they wouldn't have had otherwise if they didn't actually get the kills on us. So here, Baron is up, and my team just needs to come here and make sure the enemy team is not doing Baron. They don't actually have to do it themselves, but they do just need to make sure the enemy team is not doing it. Elder is also coming up in 30 seconds. Myself and Mordekaiser have respawned, and now we're back on the map. And here Darius tries to go in onto the Caitlyn and Seraphine. And here I'm just clearing the minions. I'm not sure why I'm still panning the camera onto Caitlyn. I think I forgot to change the camera panning back to myself, but I guess you can see the me just killing the Baron, I guess. Yeah, it looks like I definitely forgot to turn the camera back to myself, but I don't think there's a lot to see here. So here, I'm just going to describe what's happening. It's the kind of last minute of the game anyway. Enemy team is desperately trying to go in to get something done. I'm just DPSing from the back line. And yeah, here we get the kill onto the Olaf, and the game is pretty much over at this point. Me and Amumu are now just doing the Elder, and the whole team is now just joining in the party. We get the Elder, Caitlyn ults the Darius and gets a free kill onto him. It's Collector, Caitlyn by the way, so really not a great build. And here at this point, we have the Baron, we have the Elder, and at this point the game is pretty much over. I even hit Akali in the invis. Akali tries to jump in, maybe delay the minion wave a little bit. Yeah, but we do get the kill onto her eventually, and then we're just going to end the game. Or rather, I'm going to try to farm for damage, as you guys can see here, but yeah, the game does end up ending. So, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.